With Christmas near, most of us are focused on the last-minute rush to get the items we see as necessary for the holiday celebration. For a group of some 300 families living in an Oklahoma City apartment complex, Christmas will be celebrated remembering families left thousands of miles away because these Oklahomans had to flee their homelands to stay alive. They are refugees from scores of different countries learning to live as Americans.
Yazir Corey has lived in America for 16 years, much of that in Oklahoma. He fled his home in the Sudan after beatings, incarceration, and nearly being burned alive for refusing to reject the faith he had discovered reading a book called the Bible. For him, like many others in his homeland, life had become minute-by-minute survival.
There is a severe violence and political persecution in terms of religion, in terms of ethnicity, whatever you are from. As long as you are non-Muslim and non-Arab, you are totally persecuted.
After escaping, Yazir managed to get to the United States and has become an internationally recognized advocate for refugees.
I'm working to develop community, to enable community fighting for refugee rights, and also working harder to let the community be educated and be culturally assimilated into the new environment where they are coming to.
Julie Lewis heads up Catholic Charities' Refugee Settlement Program in central and western Oklahoma. Catholic Charities helps refugee children enroll in school, starts adults in English learning classes, and helps them find work. Lewis says many Oklahomans think of refugees as illegal immigrants, and they are anything but.
People don't understand that our country has actually welcomed refugees in and are providing them a way to start over and to be contributing members of our country.
Helping people understand what refugee status really means has become a mission for Yazir Corey.
When you tell anybody here, I am a refugee, they think you are like somebody who is homeless or somebody who is stateless. They don't understand what it means to be a refugee.
Yazir has another mission in life, to help refugees resettle in the United States to avoid the problems he encountered. Before coming to America, Yazir had never ridden in an automobile.
I used to ride on a donkey before. So when I come here, I know how to ride a car. So no matter whether I'm riding a car, I'm still thinking about people who are riding donkey. It's back home there.
Refugees also get help from the Sparrow Project, the creation of Brad and Kim Bandy, who discovered the apartment full of refugees in their neighborhood and became overwhelmed by what they saw. S-P-E-R-O, Sparrow in Latin means hope. One reason the Bandys chose that name for their organization. There is also another meaning.
Of the pronunciation sparrow, like the bird that's the most populated bird on the planet, and there's a scriptural biblical reference, multiple biblical references about sparrows and how they're the least significant, the most common, yet highly valued and watched by God.
Rachel Sanders works in the refugee ministry for the Sparrow Project. She says the children often become the primary English speaker, which changes their position in the family structure.
And so in my mind, it might seem like, wow, that's a lot for them to handle. But a lot of them are just really vibrant and strong and do amazing at supporting their parents in that way.
The apartment complex is actually a for-profit operation owned by an out-of-state property management company. On site, Cynthia Sauceda is the property manager.
We do have excellent owners that have huge hearts and have allowed me to manage this property and take care of people in a manner that, believe to me, in this business is exceptional.
Sauceda had always prayed for money and a village. She says God didn't give her the money, but sure gave her the village.
From Congo, we have a large community from Iraq. We've had some families from Afghanistan. We have a large community. People will call them the Russians, but really they're Turkish from Turkey, and we're caught in that Cold War and came here. And then, of course, we have an extremely large Burmese community.
She bubbles over with stories about the families she has seen arrive with virtually nothing, who in a matter of months blossom and eventually leave to build lives as new Americans.
They can see the good in any situation. And if I had to say one thing about the refugees that come to our property, is their spirit. Their spirit is so wonderfully set on positive things.
And during the holidays, even those who may not have celebrated Christmas before come to embrace the way Americans celebrate the holiday.
It's just grown to be a part of their culture too now, and they love it, and they'll walk around with the, Santa hats on.
Back in the Sudan, Yasir still worries about his family, whose lives remain threatened.
There is aerial bombardment going on. There have been systematic aerial bombardment, and they are hiding themselves in order to protect themselves from the military and the militia who are recruited by the government to perform ethnic cleansing in that area.
To help, Yasir works full-time and travels the nation speaking on behalf of refugee rights. He supports a wife and 3 children and still sends money home to his family left behind.
As long as we have something, we divide with them. Whatever we have here, we give them half of it.
At this time of year, Yasir Corey and his family have their own special celebration, tied to a tradition from the old country.
Back home there, we buy a new clothes. We prepare 6 months or 7 months before by buying new clothes, put them there, that we go to wear the clothes at the Christmas time, that we are born with Jesus Christ. We are express ourselves like a new.
Yasir says putting on new clothes is a way to link themselves with the birth of Christ, a renewal of body, mind, and spirit.
And this is a good time for us to change and have a new face, have a new body, and new clothes, especially a heart. We need our heart to be renewed.
Donations through Catholic Charities or the Sparrow Project are always welcome to help families starting all over in a new land, leaving behind loved ones and nations torn by war, bigotry, and intolerance over religious or political beliefs. Starting over in a nation built by refugees, beckoned here by a statue with the inscription, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me."
Bob Sands produced that story. Bob, what other impressions do you have after talking to the refugees?
Dick, let me share a quick fact first, and that is that about 70,000 refugees make it into the United States every year, out of the millions that are out there around the planet. And of those, less than 1,000 end up in Oklahoma. The impressions I came away with were, one, we really don't know what life is like for a lot of these people and the horrible circumstances and situations that they've lived through. Someday I'd like to just get into the way Yasir actually ended up in the United States, the torture that he had to endure, 14 years of age. Also, interestingly enough, these complexes have courtyards. There's 2 buildings that have courtyards in the middle. And when we walked in there, the very first impression I had was the sparrows that were everywhere singing, and tied in nicely with the Sparrow Project. And finally, the children. I got to watch children of all sizes, all ages, all nationalities, playing in the universal language of kids, which is running and screaming and having a good time. And you could just tell that there's a warmth, there's a feeling of kinship there across nations, across divides, right in the middle of Oklahoma, that most people don't even know exist.
Bob Sands, thanks for that report.
You bet.